We all had weird hotel experiences. The energies were weird. So we would all bring our Palo Santo and our sage and our incense.
So everyone,
like every time we'd have to go film over there.
Get out!
Be careful. A lot of weirdos out here.
We are the weirdos, mister.
I'm just so impressed with the movie and how it is something very different. It doesn't feel like a rehash in any way, which is so exciting to watch. But we did get some nice, fun callbacks, visual cues to the original Craft movie here. Were there any of them that you were most excited to play with or put your spin on, any of these homages, I guess?
I mean, Light as a Feather, Stiff as a Board was really fun because it's obviously such an iconic moment in the original, and we were placing each of our actresses sort of in the perfect spots, and we were all referencing the actual footage and seeing, like when Lily would put her hands over her face. So those moments were really fun. I mean, We Are the Weirdos, Mister is obviously just the line of all lines of all movies.
We are the weirdos, mister.
So that was just like, I think, chilling for all of us to be able to recreate in a different context. But
Light as a Feather, Stiff as a Board.
Yeah. We Are the Weirdos, mister. That was fun. That was a cute little like Hollywood moment.
Yeah, we're the weirdos, mister.
It's funny because I'm learning about them now because I never saw the original. So
David's gonna go to watch it this weekend now, though.
some of the lines that I loved, like "We're the Weirdos." That was one of my favorite lines, and I thought it was ours, but apparently it was the original. So that would have to be my favorite.
Yeah, that's that for me too. I mean, that's just, that line is gold to me, and it was the first time I heard it, and it is in this film as well. It made me just like beam from ear to ear when I saw it.
Are there any sequences or lines that you captured for the Craft legacy that you were like, ooh, the kids might really like this one?
Well, I mean, I love when Lourdes says,
We all know trans girls got our own magic anyway.
I like that as I hope that becomes a meme. I'm trying to think of hard to like say that your own writing is iconic. It feels uncomfortable.
That is fair. I'll take that answer. That's fine. That's a really solid one. That one and Woke Timmy was definitely top tier for me.
Gideon Adlon, who's a fantastic actor, she says,
I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I'm really into Woke Timmy.
I think people are very much going to sort of feel that that sort of transformation. I think it very much punctuates the sort of transformation of my character. So I hope not only her but audiences can also be into Woke Timmy too.
Maybe
Yeah.
Mother Frickin' Reckoning. Like, that one is funny.
This thing on set that I thought would be quotable, but it didn't even make it into the movie because of how annoying it was. But every time, like before, like it was official that Lily was our fourth, like I remember in the bathroom scene that you see in the trailer and everything, at the end of like the scene, I would be like, guys, and like we're all running out the freaking school thing to go to the like long hallway scene, and then freaking I'm like, the fourth. That's
I think for me, we were playing the Ouija board scene, and I was like, no, bitch.
You don't like Beyonce? No, bitch. I love her.
I love that whole thing.
Well, certainly nothing from me. All my stuff was kind of mean and nasty. Can you think of anything, Michelle?
I mean, I think it was really, all the scenes amongst the Coven.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, I just felt like everything that they spoke to was so real, and it felt so natural. I still can't get over how good their chemistry is. I mean, it shouldn't be a surprise to me because they had it naturally, even off the set, as David can attest to. But then certainly Zoe wrote something that was incredibly timely and woke, if you will, and the girls really responded to that material. And I know that they probably even put their 2 cents in terms of what they wanted to bring to it as characters. But There's nothing that pops out at me. And as I was watching it, and I've only seen it once, and I can't wait to see it on our Twitter watch, but I wanted to like stop it, write the lines down because they were so good. And some of them I don't remember necessarily seeing in the script. So I think that some of those things were probably added by some of the actresses, but I agree with you wholeheartedly that there will be many more lines to be remembered.
I liked, I forget who said it, but when one of the girls says, I don't know about you, but I really like woke Timmy.
That was a popular one from their co-stars.
Yeah. And there was a version where I did have to go to Zoe and say like, so Stan, like I stand for this. Like I'm like, is that a typo? Like I'm just like, she's like, no.
You're like,
so
I stand.
Yeah, I stand. Like totally. I said, I think this is a typo, like an idiot. And so I actually learned a lot. I actually learned a lot from the girls. I learned a lot of slang. I had a lot of things, taught me, so it was, listen, it's a very educational film.
You said, I stand for Timmy. I stand for Timmy.
We need to put a spell on Timmy. We don't want to hurt him though, right?
In the set visit, we heard that there were some ooky spooky energies happening at some point during filming. And I know this is something that the first movie was also famous for. What kind of like creepy things happened while you were working?
I had some weird experiences in like the hotel that we stayed in Hamilton, and I know that Lovie and Zoe did as well, and Cailee. We all had weird hotel experiences. The energies were weird, so we would all bring our Palo Santo and our sage and our incense.
So every
time we'd have to go film over there.
Get out!
But Cailee had a crazy experience.
Well, I just want to say that there'd be some times where I'd be filming this movie and it'd be during night shoots and I'd wrap at 4 a.m. and I remember like so scared after shooting because we did some freaky things and I'd like run to Gideon's room and just like pound on the door. Maybe she'd wake up and hang out with me, but she was always passed out.
So I'm like, I'm so sorry, but it was fun.
But yeah, I had a pretty freaky moment where a spirit tapped into my phone while I was filming. We were shooting in a house where 700 people had died in like the early 1800s, and I looked at my camera roll and there was a purple orb on my phone that I still have. I've been showing it a lot. Well, pretty freaky, but also cool because I found out that color actually meant guidance and support. So it was a good. I like to say it was a good orb. Like it was a good witch. I'm a good witch. It was a good orb.
See, I was one of these people who, when you see in the movies, they're never present when these things are going on, and they always are very suspicious of everyone else because it seems like everyone else is seeing things apart from them. But no, we had apparently shot in a house that had some kind of spirit in it. But I wasn't. Unfortunately, I didn't see anything because I'm very much one of these people who has this like intense curiosity for these kind of things. So I was kind of sad not to, but we felt in very safe hands with I think we had not one, but I think 2 or 3 witches at different points on the movie. So we were very safe. Witchly cast and crew. So
this is all just a little crazy. Half the battle of having powers is believing you do. That's why covens have always been important.
I was wondering if there were any ideas that you had for the film that ultimately didn't make it into the final cut. I feel like there was talk on set about Lourdes' family factoring in at some point. Did I make that up?
No, I mean, it's always so interesting, the filmmaking process in general, but like there's the saying that like you write the film when you write the script, then you rewrite it when you shoot it, and then you rewrite it when you edit it, and it's always so interesting what ends up on the cutting room floor because these are scenes and characters that work so well, like in isolation, and then for some reason within the context of the film as a whole, once you see it, sometimes you have to sort of like kill your darlings, as they say. So yeah, that was one element that we did lose, which was tough.
Perhaps the thing that struck me the most with the Craft Legacy was just how queer it was in regards to combating biphobia, and as well as obviously having a trans witch in the Coven. Can you speak to why that was an important part of your process?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, for me as a filmmaker, I take the responsibility very seriously when it comes to representation. And so this film was, an incredible opportunity to portray the world as it actually exists. And especially when looking at young people and the ways in which young people can be othered, I really wanted to, include queer and trans characters in that conversation. And especially, I think, whether or not I would categorize this film as feminist. I think in any discussion of feminism or looking at feminist issues, trans and queer voices must be included, and so that was really important to me.
I think addressing, as you point out, stuff like biphobia, I would say, sexuality on a whole was something that I felt was very important and kind of felt a large responsibility, playing someone like Timmy, because I think, especially in men, as you said, it's something that is shied away from, and I think we very much regard things as being very binary in a lot of instances in society. And I think to kind of explore, sexuality and what it is, and the fact that, it is this spectrum and some people are fluid, and we kind of all fall somewhere on that. I think to explore that through the lens of someone who seemingly is very what you would call classically masculine on the outside, I think shows just how diverse we are as people, and there isn't really one notion of how anyone really has to be in regards to their sexuality. So it was definitely something we really wanted to get right, but I hope people will use Timmy as a positive example of how someone can differ from our expectations on the outside, and how different we all are.
Another thing that stuck out to me was that this very much for a while felt like a love letter to Kristen Stewart. Can you speak to that choice and have this be one of the things that bonded these young women together?
You had me at shapeshifting into Kristen Stewart.
I mean, I'm like a high-key Kristen Stewart stan, and I think she's like the coolest. I just wanted to like drop my love for her in there somewhere, and I thought Twilight was kind of just like a funny meta reference in a film that is in a similar genre,